Hey y'all, Tad Harger from Marketing for Hippies here with Whipping a Shitty Part 2. So I made a little video the other day about the need to sometimes do a rough draft before, kind of giving up. That there's a lot of perfectionism that happens in business where we think we have to get it exactly right the first time, and that has people stall and kind of freeze in their head. Their brain seizes up and they're not able to move forward. So I wanted to give some more practical ideas of what that could look like. First of all, I think it's really important to give ourselves more time than we think we need. So if you've got a program coming up and you know you need to write a sales letter, start writing the sales letter as soon as possible. Don't leave it to the last minute, because that's going to mean, if you've got to get the sales letter up the next day, you're going to have to create the perfect first draft immediately. And that's where you get So give yourself time. Start writing it months before. Let yourself do a bunch of shitty drafts and let it evolve over time. So that's one thing. Second, let's say you've got a workshop you want to do and it's new, but you're not sure will anyone like it. Just host something in your living room, for free. Do a real simple pared down version of it. You've got a big keynote that you want to give at a conference, but you're really terrified. Well, do a free teleseminar to your list where you do the same content. Do some free talks in town where you get to practice it, where it's really low pressure. This connects to my work around niching. I've got a website, nichingspiral.com, and the idea of the niching spiral is this iterative process to niching, but step 6 in the niching spiral is about niche projects. This idea of starting small. Before you build a whole house, maybe you build a birdhouse. Before you start a farm, maybe you have a garden, and before that, maybe just a tomato plant, in your kitchen to build your confidence that you can raise a plant without killing it. So trying small things, the idea of you can date your niche without marrying it. You can go on a few dates to see if you like it. It takes the pressure out of it. As soon as you have the pressure that you have to get it 100% right the first time, it's going to have you freeze up. Of course, how could it not have you freeze up? One of my colleagues, Javin Bernakovich, has the idea of it. He calls it the 10 by 10 by 100 challenge. And the idea is this. So he does this at the end of a permaculture certification. And people will have all this inspiration, but kind of be also locked up of so many possible things I could do. So he has them identify 3 things. Number 1, what's the part of the training they love the most? Number 2, what's something they're good at outside of permaculture? Number 3, what's a meaningful need in the community? And to come up with some sort of a project idea, some basic idea of something they can do. And then the challenge he gives them is do something in the next 10 days, spending no more than 10 hours and no more than $100. So 10 days, 10 hours, $100 as the maximum. Just do something, get it out there. It's the same with the niche. To me, I call it the 70% rule. If I look at somebody's niche and it's 70% or above in terms of how clear it is, I just say go for it, go do something. Try something. That's how you'll clarify your niche, is by actually doing something. If it's less than 70%, I usually invite people to wait before they try anything. But there's a point where it's good enough. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. There's a point where it's, okay, that's good enough to just try something, do something. So sometimes you have to whip a shitty. You do a shitty version of it first, and it's okay. You put up a rough draft of your website, you put up a rough draft of an essay, and you get some feedback on it. It doesn't always have to be perfect the first time out of the gates. My video on my homepage, I should probably update because that's really old, but the video on my homepage, marketingforhippies.com, I just recorded one just on my laptop, and that was up there for quite a while before I got one that was professionally done. So, sometimes people just, not until the brochure is perfect and I've got all the business cards and I've got the logo and, got my outfit perfectly together, my workshop's totally designed, then I'll start. No, you won't. You'll never start. You'll always be just about to start, It's interesting, the etymology of the verb commit. When we hear about commitment, being committed to something, we tend to think about white knuckling it, just grit and determination and perseverance. But that's not what the verb means. The verb to commit in Latin, or commit in Latin, means to begin. It means to start. That's how you know you're committed to something. You've begun it, you've started it, and you will never start it if you're waiting for it to be perfect. So, we appreciate it. Thanks.